What's a relatively unknown technological invention that will have a huge impact on the future? I was talking with my spine surgeon, and he said in 30 years they will be able to regenerate the gel in your spine, practically giving you a new back. Edit. Wow, thanks everyone for all the upvotes. A little more background. I've herniated the same 2 disc in my lower back twice by the time I was 30. My doctor told me that by the time I'm 50 I'll most likely need back surgery, but it shouldn't be a big deal, since they can replace the gel. Not sure technical name that's been impacted by the slip discs. Doctor, my back is broken. Don't worry, I got your back. Research into bacteriophages. Bacteria targeting viruses could cure antibiotic resistant bacterium such as MRSA. To be honest, I was actually waiting for someone to say this. This can be revolutionary since it allows specific targeting. Gene therapy is no longer science fiction. My girlfriend got Luxturna surgery and the results have been amazing. She used to be unable to see at all at night and now she can guide herself without a cane. More treatments like that are going to keep coming and be standard before we realize it. Biotech science in general is undergoing a massive and amazing sea change right now. Gene therapy is a huge wave that's just getting started even now, and there are so many related applications that are really exciting. We are swiftly getting to the point of being able to edit safely. We can already teach your own modified immune cells to attack your cancer in things like CAR-T, and the field is really still in its infancy yet. Imagine fighting cancer effectively without the side effects of chemo. We will look back someday and think chemo was barbaric. We will look back someday and think chemo was barbaric. Someone close to me went through chemo. To think that one day it may be a thing of the past instead of a necessity makes me very hopeful for our future. Yep, same. When I was a teen, my mother went through chemo 4 separate times for 4 separate battles with cancer. The last time she didn't make it. If I could guarantee no one else had to go through what I went through, I would give up everything I have. While not an unknown technology, deepfake is still in its infancy, and it terrifies me. We already live in a time when people take irrefutable video evidence and somehow find ways to rationalize away what they are seeing. People don't listen to science anymore. Truth has become frighteningly subjective. Think of all the videos of police shootings, political scandals, whistleblowers, assassinations and more. Now, add in a technology that has the potential to create doubt about the validity of what we are seeing. It's the perfect excuse, and all people will need, to kill that last little bit of logical thought deep in their brain. It is a perfect tool to create chaos and discord. Politicians will use it to create confusion and doubt, to sow fear, create false narrative, and delegitimize their opponents, or to cast doubt on crimes and acts they have committed. Something that was once impossible to rationalize away will become yet another misinformation tool and a engine to sow doubt. Surprised to find this so far down. This is the first thing I thought of. Besides DNA evidence, I feel like video evidence is our most reliable. With deepfakes, our entire judicial system will have to adjust, and that's terrifying. How do you know what to trust? You could be fed anything and not know if it's true or not. That's some Black Mirror shit right there. Wireless EKG machines. Realistically, the use of carbon grids to reproduce the catalytic effects of rhodium metal, commonly used in catalytic converters. Rhodium metal is currently trading at 13,000 ounce link after a huge spike due to worldwide emissions restrictions that took effect in 2020. Long story short, there is only 2 places on Earth to effectively find the stuff, and it is going to run out well before fossil fuels and other important building materials do. Replacing rhodium with carbon in catalytic purposes would save global manufacturers hundreds of billions a year and make many consumer goods much more affordable. Edit in theory with the affordable part. It's a logical step. Carbon hood, carbon converter, carbon wheels. The only stopgap is pricing. One day I will be able to walk into a dealership and buy a base model Corolla with a carbon fiber hood, with diamond windows and nanotube leather. Lithium sulfur batteries are in development right now that could make battery storage much cheaper than current lithium ion and lithium polymer batteries. Lower cost batteries mean more people can afford to use them. and that's more internal combustion engines replaced with electric motors. While I'm at it, battery recycling. Every element in a battery can be extracted and recycled into new batteries, especially the lithium. A former founding member of Tesla has actually already opened a plant to do just that. Oh wow, thanks everyone. Apparently Reddit loves batteries. I'm a bit skeptical. There are dozens, if not hundreds, huge capacity and theoretically cheaper batteries out there that have never left the research phase. I'm not sure if Lee's is the same. Printed human skin and organs. There are still some decent hurdles to overcome for macro scale application of third printing biologicals. But yeah, this will be a super good one in the future. Low pressure solar powered drip irrigation systems. Some more information from MIT link. Drip irrigation delivers water through a piping network to drip emitters that release the water directly at the base of the crops, avoiding water losses due to evaporation, runoff, and infiltration. Drip can reduce water consumption by 20-60% compared to conventional flood irrigation, and has been shown to increase yields by 20-50% for certain crops, because irrigation accounts for over 70% of fresh water use in most regions of the world. Large-scale adoption of drip irrigation would reduce the consumption of fresh water and be an asset for locations around the world experiencing water shortages and groundwater depletion. As a fan of anything efficient, I'm spinning. The factory must grow. I saw a new solar panel that is like glad wrap that goes on windows. Clear, thin film that covers windows and collects solar power, so you don't need to put the large panels on rooftops. So if you think about it, on city skyscrapers there is more surface area on the sides of the building than the roof. Every one east and west of the building having invisible solar panels. Did you know that they have developed implants link which can grow with you? Meaning that kids with faulty heart valves or damaged organs which require a synthetic element can undergo just one surgery as they are young and never have to have further surgeries for replacement as they grow. My housemate is a chemical engineer and she told me all about it. I thought it was interesting. Holy shit, woke up, I'm from Melbourne to 54k likes. Glad you all found it interesting. I wish it was something I knew from my own field, but unfortunately lawyers don't come up with technology. Did you know that since last year no conveyancing has been done by paper in Victoria, it's all done on electronic conveyance software? Not as interesting, but it is actually a huge thing for lawyers. Edit 2a, a lot of you are asking about my housemate needing to share a house as a chemical engineer. I'm in law and our other housemate is in architecture. We live in Melbourne together by choice. We are in our 20s. In Melbourne at least it is strange to not live with housemates in your 20s. It's considered odd, which funnily enough is strange to her because she is from Sweden, and it's much more common to move straight in with partners or even on your own there. Also, did you know that in Sweden, in their bigger cities, Stockholm, Gothenburg etc., they have waiting lists for flats. You put your name down and your rank on that list will determine your priority for a flat. HFR svensk folk, Jagskar LHC. I've had heart surgery 3 times for a faulty aortic valve, first to widen the biological one as I was too young for a mechanical, second for a mechanical replacement, third for a mechanical route as the valve was too damn powerful for my existing aortic route. Each time I've had full-on chest splitting open heart surgery, and each time they've introduced a keyhole procedure to do the same thing within a year. And now you tell me I coulda just had it once if I'd been born a few years later. Ah well, born a few years earlier and I wouldn't be here at all. So swings and roundabouts. Edit obligatory. Wow, this blew up. Shoulder realized that by far my most popular post on here would be about getting chest busted, not my observations about life. Anyway, if you've got any questions, or you're about to go through this, or are worried about, honestly hit me up and I'll let you know my experiences. But the too long didn't read is modern medicine is amazing. Doctors and nurses are the bloody best of us, and getting those drains tugged out hurts like Baleo. If it's any consolation, I now think you are a total badass tough mofo. Agreed. If it was me, the doctor would say, what's that smell? Oh, no, nurse, the patient is crapping himself. Crops that can grow anywhere. I think there are some good developments in this type, and this means draft and insects would no longer affect the growth. This would decrease poverty and famine. Solid state batteries. Maybe. From memory, larger capacity, much faster charging, and significantly longer life. Edit: I posted this late at night, based on a memory of a video I saw months ago. Read through the responses to find out that I'm not exactly correct, and it likely won't be the tech that replaces lithium ions. Still cool though. Solid state physicist electrochemist here. Worked on solid polymer electrolyte lithium ion cells at Stanford, Berkeley and Bosch. Not happening affordably in the near future. I researched on cells that allow for lithium metal Li as the anode, which has 7 times the energy density of lithium graphite Li1C6. Note that this is just the anode, which takes up less than 1/3 of the total active cell. Further, using lithium metal as a non-passivated active component is ludicrously hard to do due to its insane reactivity. Basically, the crystal really wants to reach the cathode, so it builds dendrites, little crystal arms that penetrate the solid polymer. Plus the diffusion and hence rate of the electrolyte is orders of magnitude worse than normal lithium polymer cells. Actually, lithium ion ore batteries that store energy through a difference of chemical potential between two materials, cathode and anode, are severely limited to the few suitable materials we have found, and materials science and chemistry of the active materials have progressed little to none since John B. Goodenough's proof of concept and Sony's mass production in the 90s. Fuel cells, supercapacitors and magnetic storage are actually approaches with much more potential gain in power and energy density through research, as they don't have the material limitations in the same sense. On top of this, leaks, especially solid state, for example solid polymer type cells, suffer from a wide array of other problems. I researched on this field extensively and found out some cool stuff during my master's thesis that you can look up on this publication. Link. I also have some really cool electron microscopy and nano X-ray caught images of lick cathodes, if anyone is interested. Cheers. Too long, didn't read. Not happening affordably in the near future. Also not that great of an D with limited potential. Source myself. Edit: lithium sulfur and lithium air batteries are even less developed and have proven to be ridiculous engineering obstacles with little ground made. Second edit: thanks for your likes awards. I'm new to Reddit. This feels awesome. I uploaded some images I created in this link. I left the captions, so it's at least somewhat feasible to understand what I'm showing. If there's interest, I can upload the whole thesis. I wrote it in such a way that one can understand without too much experty chemical or radiation physics knowledge. Cheers. Biochips are now a reality of sorts. Means we can test various drugs and treatments on your genetics without doing it on you. No animal testing. Whole cohorts of test subjects that are chips. Just a biochip. So we can find the cure or treatment for something and know it will work before prescribing it. It will be a while until it's mainstream and used instead, but it's a reality. Edit: for those interested, there are 3 kinds: DNA microarray, protein microarray, and microfluidic chip. Here is some further explanation for those interested. Link. I'm surprised no one has said it yet, but automation is getting incredibly sophisticated. There will be no need for a lot of people to work in factories. I went to an assembly expo and the manufacturing technology of today is mind-blowing. Some jobs you still need humans, but even then, many of those jobs are getting foolproof to the point that previous jobs that required skills will be able to be replaced by cheaper labor with lesser skill. I think it's ultimately a good thing, but who knows how long it will be before society catches up to technology. This is definitely gonna change our society in a profound way in the next decades, and will challenge capitalism in a lot of ways. It will not only replace factory jobs, but plenty of other jobs. We'll have to think what to do with all the people who won't have a job, because machines will be able to do certain jobs better and cheaper than any human ever could. This could be a huge opportunity for society if handled correctly, or could be the biggest problem we have ever faced. Batteries containing nuclear waste encases in synthetic diamond supposedly can go thousands of years without charge and are perfectly safe. Currently being trialed in the UK. Better voltaics. They are more of energy harvesters than batteries, but being able to last hundreds of years is really cool for some things. They don't put out much power at the moment though, so they are pretty niche. 3D printing at home. Imagine downloading the blueprints of whatever you need, customize it and have it printed overnight and into your hands. What is now a hobby will soon be a common household tool. My bet is on CRISPR, a genetic technology that enables DNA modification on live organisms at a very low cost. Sadly, I cannot predict whether the impact will be positive or not. The invention of hypersonic missiles is starting an arms race not seen since the Cold War, and nobody seems to care. Any kind of advance in batteries and the ability to store electrical energy, a huge portion of electronic devices are only limited in scope because of how much battery power it would require, and that's a field which has become largely stagnant. There are a few promising things out there but nothing actively in development. But such an advance in technology would unlock the potential of technology that already exists but is currently impractical. Edit: I'm not just talking about smartphones, but any device that runs on a battery, particularly electric cars. Edit: hey folks, thanks for all the replies. Definitely learning a ton about the subject. Not going to summarize it here, but look at the comments below to learn more, because there's great info there. Also, as many have said, significant applications to renewable energy too. I manage a portfolio of technologies at a large research university, so I'll give you my opinion on a few of the most underrated yet promising in terms of impact. Biologically derived electrodes, batteries, agricultural robotics pickers, sorters, computer visions for identification phenotypes for example, etc. Advanced nanocomposite materials for magnetic devices, AI milliliter algorithms for medical imaging, brain-to-computer interfaces, sensors galore. I can't expound too much here for various reasons. AI milliliter algorithms for traffic management. Self-driving vehicles are still underrated in my opinion. Autonomous drone swarm technologies applies to manufacturing, emergency rescue, mapping, etc. Various carbon nanotube technologies, emotion and identification recognition through voice, gait, etc. using AI milliliter algorithms. Those are some of the biggest ones I've seen so far, but much of their success depends on finding the right business model to commercialize the technology, and some of those will inherently die on the vine. BCI brain-computer interface have been used to control games with your mind, speak to another person telepathically, and make prosthetic limbs be controlled easier. CBI computer brain interface have been used to make a blind person regain their sight through camera glasses, and make monkeys feel things in VR that weren't there. If we perfect both of these, we could do a lot. ZK SNARK's Link Zero Knowledge Succinct Non-Interactive Argument of Knowledge. They are a new cryptographic primitive that is much more powerful than anything we've discovered before, and they are getting a lot of traction lately in the cryptography community, and it's especially important in this age of privacy and security concerns. Imagine a world where you can prove you are financially stable to rent a new property without having to hand over a bank statement or a job offer letter. Or a world where you can apply for a job based solely on your credentials, without revealing any information about yourself including race, gender, or even name, while still providing a guarantee to the company that the information on your resume is 100% true. Or even a world in which prove to the government that I paid my taxes correctly without even telling them who I am, or how much I make, or how much money I paid. These are all impossible today, but ZK SNARKs are a new cryptographic primitive which will make these things a reality in I believe a rather near future, despite the fact that most people don't even know about them. In fact, not only can they do all of this, but they can do all of this in a way that is cheap and scalable, meaning that I can check a cryptographic proof in seconds or less on a regular old phone, or maybe even a Raspberry Pi. I won't be surprised if, in a few years, ZK SNARKs will become a standard security protocol in browsers, and will be the next layer of security on top of HTTPS. Soon we will have browsers with significantly more powerful security and privacy features that we didn't even know were possible a few years ago. Organic circuitry is actually a thing. Link. Like also, using a short chain carbon molecule with just 2 sulfur atoms makes it conduct electricity pretty well. Essentially, a circuit board made with C2H2S2 instead of gold. Long distance wireless electricity transport. Space solar panels. Here we come. Energy storing smart bricks link that could one day turn the walls of our houses into batteries. I'd have to go with fusion power. It definitely exists and is possible, but is still in the research phase and always remains slightly out of reach. But ITER is being built in France, which should be able to produce a 10-fold increase in energy output over input. Additionally, new discoveries are being made all the time in how fusion devices could be miniaturized. Imagine near limitless clean energy and fossil fuels becoming redundant.